Quite recently on my channel, I made two videos: Evolved Godzilla vs. Burning Godzilla vs. Final Worlds Godzilla and Thermo Godzilla vs. Burning Godzilla, which some new fans might not know is a direct sequel to something I made back in 2024. It's of two very popular incarnations of Godzilla fighting each other to the death, and actually did it extremely well on the channel, so I really appreciate you for that. And since I don't really describe lore, I just show them fighting, I wanted to dive into this video about their conflict and some lore about why these two Godzillas hated each other so much. Now, before we get started, I'd really appreciate it if you all subscribe. We are really close to 1k now. I know I like to say this every video, I'm just kind of hyped for it. Your choice though. You can go on with your day if you want to. So, in January of 2024, I made Legendary Godzilla vs. Heisei Godzilla stop motion battle. This is a very simple starting. The opening shows Burning Godzilla killing Kong. Yes, I know that's a bit far, but still. So Burning Godzilla kills Kong. This introduction was made just to show how strong Heisei Godzilla was. And later on, he goes to fight Godzilla. Legendary Godzilla, of course, and that is when the conflict began. Legendary Godzilla had sensed a threat and had sensed roars of pain from his comrade, and because of that, he wanted to fight who was nearby. He finds Kong's dead body, which doesn't appear in the actual video, but yeah, before the actual fight begins, Legendary Godzilla does find Kong just laying down, and then Legendary Godzilla leaves Kong and sees Heisei Godzilla nearby, and they begin to fight. And these two Godzillas had no sympathy for each other. Now, unfortunately for Legendary Godzilla, Heisei Godzilla was a lot stronger. Though Legendary Godzilla actually still put up a good fight, and lasted a while. But at one point he was taken down, he nearly dies during the fight, and he surrenders knowing that he won't be able to take down this new beast. And around this period of time, here is some more lore that I don't want to reveal till now, but lizards kaiju species were very low at this point, so Godzilla didn't want to attack. And around then, yes, while Godzilla made peace with Kong, he wasn't necessarily best friends with him. He was only getting revenge because he was a bit disappointed. Then Heisei Godzilla leaves to go fight Space Godzilla and actually nearly dies against Space Godzilla. And since Legendary Godzilla knows that if he doesn't help, every kaiju species and the world will potentially be in danger to this new kaiju threat. And although he still has a bit of beef with Heisei Godzilla, Legendary Godzilla comes to team up with Heisei Godzilla to take down Space Godzilla. Eventually, Space Godzilla is then taken down. During this fight, Legendary Godzilla actually gets a new form, the energized form, and he manages to revive Heisei Godzilla, who I forgot to mention actually dies during the fight. But Legendary Godzilla comes and revives him, and the only reason he managed to do this was because he fed radiation to him, because he had a lot of radiation. Now, this didn't affect Heisei Godzilla, unlike it did to the Mutos, because Heisei Godzilla is also radioactive. The two kaijus eventually make peace in the end, but they are not friends. In another video that is separate, they would end up being in a video together again where they teamed up against Gigan. Now, the message to this story was kind of simple. It wasn't a real life lesson to learn, but the simple message was that these two weren't friends. They just need to accept peace for now, and Heisei Godzilla would be used as a way to team up with the King of the Monsters to take down these strong kaijus that could take over the world if they do not. It may feel like it, but in this story, there isn't actually a superhero or a protagonist. All of them are bad in their own way. Legendary Godzilla shows jealousy and tries to kill another kaiju. Heisei Godzilla attacked Kong at the start for no reason, and attempted attacking another lizard species, aside Space Godzilla, as Space Godzilla was actually evil, and while Space Godzilla was pure evil for obvious reasons. Then, a direct sequel came, where these two kaijus have a rematch. Now, the main thing about this story was that legendary Godzilla let his jealousy take advantage of him. Recently, he had a new form called the evolved form, which was extremely overpowered. He starts off, the whole movie, fan film, short movie, whatever you want to call it, starts off with legendary Godzilla invading Tiamat's territory and using his WWE moves to kill him. Now, not only he killed Tiamat, but he was in Heisei Godzilla's home, because in this rocky area you can see on the screen right now, Heisei Godzilla slept at a rock bay nearby. Now, legendary Godzilla was really intelligent, instantly remembering the flashbacks from the previous battle, and that's when their fight would begin once again. But this time it was different. Legendary Godzilla was a much more tough opponent. He got the first hit and he managed to throw Heisei Godzilla. That's how much stronger he became. This new attack actually scared Heisei Godzilla. This was going to be a completely different fight. But even then, Heisei Godzilla still managed to retaliate, and eventually, Godzilla Final Wars also joins in the battle, as you can tell by the title of the story. Now, why is Final Wars in this? He's kind of got nothing to do with the lore, actually. I just added him in there for fun, and he was one of the last Godzilla standing during this time period. Logically, in the movies, Heisei Godzilla would destroy Evolved Godzilla in a fight, but in this universe it's just different, okay? I felt like at the start of the video now I should have made a disclaimer saying that this fight was not going to be accurate. But oh well, I guess, hopefully no one minds. To make legendary Godzilla even more of a menace, he throwed Heisei Godzilla multiple times. Here are clips right now of him doing it. But yeah, in part 1, Final Wars dies to Burning Godzilla, and Burning Godzilla is then met with a surprise, and that being that Evolved Godzilla is no longer Evolved Godzilla, and he is now Thermo Godzilla, and that is when part 2 of the video begins. Now, Thermo Godzilla, surprise surprise, is even stronger. Heisei Godzilla nearly lost this fight. Thermo Godzilla was getting a lot of critical hits, though don't get me wrong, Thermo Godzilla was still struggling to take down Heisei. Heisei was still a valid opponent. By part 2, legendary Godzilla's throne takes advantage of him as he wants to remain the king, and this time he becomes fully enraged on Heisei Godzilla, showing that his pride is huge and he really wants to remain king of the monsters, and he doesn't want anyone to not bow down to him, as he now fully tries to kill Heisei Godzilla because he wants to remain the king of the monsters. And yeah, I forgot to tell you, in part 1, while Evolved Godzilla was indeed still stronger, he actually did lose the fight eventually, in this shot right here, where Heisei Godzilla most likely would have taken him down completely in this scene if it weren't for Evolved Godzilla turning thermonuclear. But yeah, for most of part 2, there's no new, drops of secrets. It's mostly just fun action of Heisei Godzilla and Thermo Godzilla fighting each other. But near the end, and they are twice as menacing as Space Godzilla. Destroyer appears halfway through the battle and is basically the final boss and the reason for half of the kaiju's extinctions. Now, to show how powerful he truly is, at the very start of the fight, he tears Thermo Godzilla's tail off, already putting Thermo Godzilla in a state of fear. Thermo Godzilla got so obliterated by Destroyer that only 2 minutes or so into the fight, he's already on the ground and is going to die. By this shot right here, yes, he's still alive, but he basically can't do anything now. He is going to die, and he is Thermo Godzilla too. He has a lot of fatal and critical hits, and Heisei Godzilla is now one of the last Godzilla standing in this universe, and overall is officially the new king, because who's going to replace Thermo Godzilla? Heisei Godzilla, because he's also a Godzilla. Now, Firmo Godzilla isn't dead yet though, and he decides to, like, before he makes his final push and gets back up and continues the fight, an evolved Godzilla also appears, and this is the past version of him, apologizing to Heisei Godzilla for his jealousy. He realizes that the situation they're in right now is really serious, and he just wants to, he just wants to be forgiven. Like, he feels guilty for all of his jealousy, and luckily, in the end of the day, Heisei Godzilla and Legendary Godzilla manage to save the day as they take down Destroyer. The series concludes to an unexpected ending where both Godzillas end up dying. Heisei Godzilla succeeds in killing Destroyer after Legendary Godzilla sacrifices himself, as Destroyer unleashes his most powerful ability on him, it kills Firmo Godzilla instantly. Heisei Godzilla manages to take down Destroyer with the help of Firmo Godzilla, but due to injuries, he ends up falling to the ground as well, and both, unfortunately, end up dying, concluding the entire series. And even though Heisei could have become king, he ends up not getting to see the chance. And I personally feel like this is one of the most fun projects I made in a while, so if you haven't yet, feel free to check it out.